Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Fitness Education Series. Today we have Bob Guell and we're talking about the most common pitfalls of fat loss. So let's start with, let's just set this up for the viewer at home. A female comes in, quite common, and they want to lose some body fat. What do you think are the most common pitfalls for, basically, specifically females getting into shape?
Well, the most common pitfalls are, first off, weight loss is different for everybody.
Right.
All right? There's 10 to 12% of the population do anything they want to, whatever they want to, eat whatever they want to, they'll stay lean, they'll stay healthy. When you get into people who have a hard time losing weight, they think that's not fair because they have to work harder at it. It's a genetic pool. We're given what we're, tell that to the person born blind because you can't lose weight, it's not fair. Right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So the biggest pitfall is when the person comes in off the street and they go in to see their trainer, these trainers have a set protocol for weight loss. They don't fit everybody, but they treat them like it does. Okay? For instance, the woman that came in the other day and her trainer's telling her she needs to eat more carbs, she needs to eat more carbs, she needs to eat more carbs. This woman's got, basically, she's got predisposition for metabolic syndrome or carbohydrate resistance. She doesn't handle carbohydrates well. To put somebody like that on carbs is a time bomb. All right? All you're going to do is you're going to set off her glycemic pathways, and you're just going to put her into fat storing mode because her body doesn't know what to do with those carbs. So again, a standard doesn't fit in for everybody. I see a lot of female athletes 4 or 5 years later now who maybe were fitness models that are now, they're huge. They can't lose the weight because of all these supplements they put on just jack their metabolism to a point where now their metabolism is doing its own thing. So it's not a one-size-fits-all program. So if you take the woman that came in the other day, she's got all these protein powders. Her trainer's saying, you got to eat these protein powders, you got to eat these protein powders. But these protein powders are causing inflammation in her gut. She says, yeah, when I eat them, I get bloated. But he says, but you need them, you need them, you need them. If something's creating inflammation in the gut, it's not doing you any benefit. You're not going to lose weight from it.
So in other words, what you're really saying is there's obviously a lot of marketing lies. You might get a sports supplement company that says, take this fat burner, and they market it tremendously well through, muscle magazines and all the media, Facebook outlets, YouTube, etc. They might even sponsor, the top figure athlete to endorse the product. They think, I'm going to take this product, and it blows off their system completely. May even induce anxiety or depression or who knows, but it doesn't agree with their system, and yet they continue to do this because they genuinely believe that what is being sold to them is truth. You see that a lot, right?
Yes. When you look at a study for anything, whether it's a drug, whether it's a supplement or anything, and the marketing of the company that wants to sell it, wants to make the money, they take this research and they blow it out as if it's 100% effective for 100% of the population. There is nothing on this market that fits 100% of the people 100% of the times. When you look at a study and you look at the results of a study, the study would sit, if you read the study, sometimes...
Well, most of them in muscle magazines, just to bring this up, aren't actually studies. What do they call them? Editorials, or they're not studies. They make ridiculous claims, and the statistics that they put are comparing basically nothing to a diet and exercise change. So they say things like an increasing by 500%, but it's very misconstrued. So a lot of the time they're not even studies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They're not.
Yeah.
But all a study has to, for something to be, even in a study, to be significantly different, could be a 20% improvement on 20% of the people who take it. But then when you get the companies, they will take that and they will just blow it out of the water as if it's 100%.
Yes.
So you take, okay, let's say...
Or they get rid of people from the study, so they say it's 100%. So let's say 20 people did the study,
yes,
and 15 people got the gains and 5 people didn't. They'll get rid of those 5 people and say, well, we're going to dismiss those 5 people from the study, and now we've got 15 people, that makes 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they eliminate, so they play with the words. Again, there isn't. So you take, let's say, a fat burner that, this trainer's seen good results with it, so he puts every woman that comes in on that fat burner. A couple of those women probably will get good results. Some of them, it's going to stress out their adrenals, maybe stress their kidney, cause anxiety, cause them to lose their appetite. Now they're not eating enough food, which, as we know, is going to be even more detrimental. Yeah. All right? And then the diets. Let's just look at the diets. They have a diet in their head. This diet fits 100% of the people 100% of the time. It doesn't. Some people have to eat less carbs. Some people have to eat more fats.
If we just transition, sorry, just for a sec, into, there's a term that's thrown around, I think, way too much in the bodybuilding industry. I just want to check in, get some of your thoughts, and that is metabolic damage. What is metabolic damage?
Well, what I've seen, okay, and I have a couple clients back home now. They were heavy. One was a heavy fitness competitor, and no matter what she does, she's heavy now. She can't lose the weight no matter what she does, because metabolically, it's almost like, to lay it out simply, it's like your metabolism and your system, your fat burning mechanisms just get sick and tired of you beating the crap out of them, and they kind of do their own thing.
But you'd always say it's more insulin resistant now.
It's hugely insulin resistant. Yeah,
chronically elevated levels of cortisol as well will go along with that. So is it, the reason I'm just trying to bring this up and make a point of it is, a lot of people in bodybuilding land, they don't actually understand the term metabolic damage. They think of metabolic damage as this thing that there's something wrong with their metabolism, whereas there's actually a lot more to the story. It's not just their metabolism. It's probably the metabolism is a symptom merely of the insulin resistance, the chronically elevated levels of cortisol, which usually go along with a compromised gut as well. So you have these three issues, and people want to just put this bow around it and say it's metabolic damage. It's not metabolic damage. There's other issues there at play as well.
Yeah, no, metabolic damage is just a label they put on it. In fact, what they did is they've stressed out their insulin pathways to the point where now they don't function correctly. So you can't just put a Band-Aid on that. You have to slowly try to reset that. You've damaged the cortisol pathways. They're damaged. They're not. It's not a quick fix. Okay, it's very delicate.
Just to add into that as well, when say for example someone does go and buy a off the store fat burner supplement, and it does induce things like, which is actually very common, it induces things like anxiety. They actually stress out about their weight loss even more, which actually makes their problem even worse, and then there's this perpetuating cycle that they can never seem to get off.
Right, and you see that all the time.
Yeah.
Stop stressing over the fact that you can't lose those 3 pounds, because the stress of you worrying about not being able to lose those 3 pounds is raising your cortisol, and now you can't lose the 3 pounds because you won't stop stressing about it. Yeah. And that's one of the problems I have with the industry and coaches. Like, I've seen how you work with your clients, everything is very relaxed, let's just do what we have to do. But some of these guys, they stress it and they push it. And I've seen a lot of coaches just throw supplements at these clients without really even understanding what they do. And a lot of times when you're getting stuff over the counter, you don't know what's going in them. Yeah. And that's a problem.
It is a problem, and that's why you see we've spoken about this. We actually tested a couple of supplements over the weekend. That's why you often see that there's supplements that get pulled from the market without really any notice, and the companies don't say exactly why they got pulled. Normally, as you said,
we're improving the formula.
Which really means we're covering up to make sure no one knows that we made a mistake in the first formula, and we got to get it right this time because we're going to get a lawsuit from the government, basically, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and of course, we'd love to see you at a course in the future. Check out the Enterprise Fitness website, which is www.melbournepersonaltrainers.com. Thanks for watching.